Welcome to another ADLC Northlands video presentation. Today we will be looking at the imposing of liberalism around the world. Some people doubt that any one ideology will work for all people in all countries. They believe that liberalism, like any ideology, has to adapt to the culture, history, and circumstance of the community in which it's being imposed on. Although liberalism can stress human dignity, equality, and freedom, liberalism can ignore human solidarity, community, sense of belonging, humility, and sense of contentment. This brings a question that can any political doctrine really form the sole basis of the good of society? Two main reasons we impose liberalism are self-interest and humanitarianism. Whereas self-interest is the imposing of liberalism to eliminate or reduce terrorist threats or for reasons of economic self-interest. Humanitarianism is the imposing of liberalism for moral or ethical reasons, such as to improve living conditions or stop human rights violations. Liberal democratic nations have imposed liberal ideology to protect themselves from possible attack or to protect their own economic interests. Liberal ideology has also been imposed for humanitarian reasons. Imposing liberal ideology is intended to bring equality and stability, but that is not always successful or the case. The idea of imposing liberalism for national interests is not new. Sean Anlin Jones said, "The U.S. has an interest in what happens in other countries, as widespread misery abroad may create political turmoil, economic instability, and refugee flows, and environmental damage that will affect the Americans. This can be used as one of the justifications for the invasions of both Iraq and Afghanistan." Imposing liberalism can also be done for economic reasons. Those who believe in liberalism believe that people, not governments, should have the freedom to decide on the values of goods and services. In 2005, Turkey wanted to join the European Union in hopes of attaining the economic benefits provided by belonging to a large association of countries. Conditions have been attached that require the embracing of liberal values such as democracy, rule of law, and human rights, and free market economy. Meeting some of these requirements will require fundamental change in Turkey that not all citizens will support. But if they want the economic benefits, they must accept some form of liberalism. Liberalism can also be imposed for humanitarian reasons. Humanitarianism means to advocate for human welfare. Some people argue that those who believe in liberalism should not tolerate non-liberal states that deny human rights. These are some of the arguments that are being used right now in favor of intervening in the current Syrian crisis and were used for the NATO involvement in the Libyan crisis. Promoting liberalism in countries that are not accustomed to liberalism and democratic rights have had mixed results. Some argue that elections have to occur before a country can experience peace and good. When such elections are held in areas that are unstable, this may not improve a country's situation. If you go to page 236 of your textbook, you can read about the Rwandan genocide, which can arguably be related to attempted democratic elections in 1994. So Rwanda is a small African country here in Central Africa. And Rwanda had been split along ethnic lines. And in 1992, they decided to form democratic parties and have a new multi-party system. The multi-party system did not address the underlying problems that already faced Rwanda with the ethnic divides, but served as a mask for many divided ethnic groups and MERS militias. This created the perfect circumstances that led up to the genocide that claimed 800,000 people in 1994. Yet Indonesia experienced success and can be read about in your text in page 237. In 1998, the former military dictatorship was facing severe economic crises. The International Monetary Fund was called in to help with aid and required the country comply with measures to get its economy on track in return for this aid. In 1999, funding was suspended as Indonesia was not meeting its requirements, and the government resigned. Its first democratic elections were held with a president coming to power peacefully, and the values of liberal democracy were embraced within the country and are still embraced today despite issues with corruption. Liberal democracies have tried to impose liberalism on other countries for various reasons with varying rates of success. For further information on the topic, you can read your textbook pages 231 through 238.